of these groups, although remember, Latinos voted for Trump, now 63% of them think he's a dictator. Only 3 months in, that's amazing. But then look at that last one. 45% of white voters think that he's a dictator and wants to destroy democracy. It is a person, a candidate who won the popular vote to become this deeply unpopular in 100 days. Well, you got to hand it to him. I mean, that is record breaking. I didn't realize that incompetence could go this deep. So, yes, your thoughts.
Yeah, it's not like people didn't see this coming. It's not like we haven't been calling stuff like this out long before we even got to this point on shows just like this one. And I know, Cenk, that you don't like to say I told you so, and I don't want to go there either, but it's one of those things where no one is happy now that we are where we are or that we were right about any of this. It's just sad because had things gotten better when we first said things are going in a direction, then we would have been fighting allegations that we were overreacting the whole time. But now here we are. A lot of what people expected or predicted was going to start happening is happening, but it all happened so slowly. We're like the frog in the boiling hot water, right? Everything is getting like progressively a little bit worse. Then we get used to it. Then we deal. Then things get a little bit worse, and then we deal with it, and things go back to normal. And we all just kind of retreat back into our own little bubbles where we can pretend that everything is okay. We can just shut off social media, turn off the news, and pretend that what's happening out there isn't actually happening. But that is until you go to your job and you're told get off social media because the things that you've been posting might get you or someone in your family deported. Right? These are real things that have happened to people that I know here in Houston. People who work at very high level jobs have had these conversations with their supervisors about the way that they're living their lives in their own homes and their own privacy, or the way that they are practicing their right to free expression. Those things can now get them in trouble. And these are just American citizens, right? People who otherwise wouldn't have had to worry about a lot of these things. But here we are, right? And it's really hard to go back to some kind of normalcy after we've been living in this reality for 10 years now. It's there. We have an entire generation of people voting age who really don't even remember a world before all of this craziness has been happening, before all of the uncertainty and all of the instability and this whole culture of waking up every morning and seeing what happened and what fresh hell has this administration given to us, right? And that's not to say that during the Biden administration it was a whole lot better. Things were still crazy, right? Even then, even though our president wasn't waking up every morning and tweeting something crazy like Trump did throughout his entire first administration, we still had to deal with these people, right? It's not like they went away. And through those Biden years, Trump and his supporters were gaining momentum. They were gaining support. And Trump was, again, as I said earlier in the story, he was playing out a lot of the same dictatorial, authoritarian playbooks, things that we have seen repeated in history. And like you said you weren't going to name names. I'm not going to either because I don't need to, right? You all know who we're talking about. Read the history books. It's all there, right? And we all wonder, how come they had so much support from all these people? Who are all those people cheering for them at those rallies?